Welcome to the Volunteer Workshop. Before we get started, I just want to cover the significance of volunteers at the marathon. Volunteers serve in various roles, but truly they are the backbone of what keeps the marathon running smoothly for the entire 24 hours. As well as this year with fundraising, it also helps us to provide funding for the Pediatric Oncology and Hematology Clinic at the UK Hospital. If you'd like to know a little bit more about us, you can watch our new promo video on YouTube, but I'll skip over that for now because I want to get to the main reasons why we've made a few of the changes and the things that you can look forward to as a volunteer. But first, let's cover what used to be volunteer experience. Volunteers have always been such a vital part of what it means to DanceBlue, but they've never really had a time to themselves to experience what dancers feel or to know really what the organization stands for. The workshop that they used to have would be 15 minutes on a day right before the marathon, where volunteers would, receive their t-shirts and go forward with little knowledge of what they're actually going to be doing or accomplishing at the marathon. So this year we've taken some survey results and one-on-one conversations and tried to turn them into a new and better experience for the volunteers. One of the main improvements has been fundraising this year. Every year we have around 300 to 400 people pledged to volunteer, but in the past usually almost half of them either drop out or don't hold up their end of the deal when it comes to volunteering. So this year we've instituted a required fundraising goal, and the basic premise of this is the same reason why we have our committee fundraise and our dancers fundraise. That is our overall goal, is raising money for the kids. And when you are involved with an organization, you want to have all of your physical energy and your time and your finances to all have an active role in that organization. And so not only would it help our cause, but it also helps to make the volunteers feel more engaged with our organization. Along with that fundraising goal, this has allowed us to let the volunteers dance on the floor for an entire hour. So there have been a few instances, as we'll talk about, of changes we've had to make with this, but for the most part, everyone will be able to dance on the floor during the marathon, which is a great way to immerse themselves in the actual marathon and potentially, set them up to dance in the future if it's something that they do enjoy. And hopefully this workshop will be an improvement to allow for you to get a better grasp of what you will be doing at the marathon. Real quick, we'll talk about where you will be meeting. As you may already know, DanceBlue is held in Memorial Coliseum every year. If you don't know where Memorial is, I would suggest Googling it before you make your way over there. But basically, volunteers will enter in the lobby where all of our guests and dancers enter, go up the left concourse ramp, and you'll see on the left side concourse, the volunteer check-in table will be set up there. Regardless of if you dance first or volunteer first, you will be meeting there, and more instructions will be given to you. So make sure that you make it there. And we'll talk about time. Please arrive 15 minutes early for your shift. This will make sure that everyone can get registered and get their t-shirts passed out, and that you can get a little bit of a breather before you go out into your various roles. Please stay for your entire shift. This goes without saying that it's an important part of the volunteer process is following the instructions and staying with the logistical flow of things. So please make sure that you show up on time and you leave on time. And finally, when you do dance, you will get either an hour or 30 minutes to dance, and I'll talk about that later, but make the most of it. It's not a lot of time on the floor, but it should be a great experience for you if you make the most of it. Finally, we'll run through a few of the do's and don'ts of the marathon. As I said before, arrive on time, and please stay focused throughout the marathon and try to keep a positive attitude. Of course, dancers may, over the duration of the marathon, become more stressed and strained, and sometimes their moods can get a little down. So one of the things that committee and volunteers always strive for is to keep a positive attitude and to treat them with respect and kindness. It really does make their experience that much better. Please work your entire shift and enter and exit the floor when instructed. One of the main codes we have to follow at DanceBlue is the floor capacity plan. So we have a set number of people that can be on the floor at one time, and if we exceed that number, then the fire marshal can shut us down completely. So we want to make sure that at all times we have a thorough head count of how many people are actually on the floor. So it's very pertinent that you all enter and exit the floor when instructed to do so, when you do get the opportunity to dance, or if you are at the hydration station or snack stand or helping out in various ways on the floor. Also, help out your fellow volunteers. If you see someone struggling with their role, if they seem like they're kind of out of the loop and don't know what's going on, it never hurts to fill them in on what's going on, and it'll make everything happen that much smoother. And finally, as I said before, keep that positive attitude up and keep smiling. Now, I hate to go over the negatives, but these are a few of the don'ts for the marathon. Do not arrive intoxicated, late, or in a foul mood. I know this may sound silly, but you'd be surprised some of the issues that we do face being on a college campus. Do not sneak on the floor or sit down on the job. One of the goals of this year's marathon is to instill a no-sitting campaign. This is basically for our guests and our volunteers. As you may know, the committee and dancers have pledged to stand on their feet for the duration of the entire 24 hours. But we also want to be respectful of that pledge. And so all of the volunteers and guests are encouraged this year to stand in respect and honor and encouragement for the dancers while they are going through this enormous task. So please, I understand if you do have to sit down or if you have any health concerns like that, but make sure that if you can, stand on your feet and give support to those dancers. Also, do not leave without checking out. You will be receiving your t-shirt at the beginning of the marathon, and then your checkout will be your goodie bag. So when we know that you have your t-shirt on, we know you're ready to volunteer, and when we see your bag, we know that you've checked out. Please, make sure you do grab that. We need to keep an accurate count of when people check in and check out, so this helps us to accomplish that. And finally, don't break the rules. We hate to do it, but we will remove you if we see anything's causing trouble. There's so many people on the floor and in the stands at one time. One little person can ruin it for everyone. So please follow the instructions, and I promise you it will be a great experience. Here are a few family relations tips. When you are on the floor, you'll notice, as our statement says, it's everything that we do at DanceBlue is for the kids. So there will be families and children there at the event, but there's a few rules to follow when you're conducting yourself around these children. First off, please do not crowd them. 700 to 1,000 people surrounding a child can be a little intimidated for any of us. They are just children trying to have fun, so please give them their space. And if you do take pictures, we ask that you consult the family and the kids and ask them before you take pictures. Many of the families want to refrain from their child being photographed, and so we want to respect that. So please ask before taking any pictures. Also, it's not inappropriate to ask a child about their diagnosis. As it says, this is their 24 hours to escape. This is their time where they don't have to think about the clinic or think about this awful disease, and it's their time to immerse themselves in something truly incredible and have a great time. So we don't want to mention anything about, their diagnosis or how they're feeling that day. If a family member talks about that, feel free to, engage in that conversation, but please don't bring these up. It's not something that they enjoy talking about. Be careful playing around children. Many of them have ports, which are basically surgical devices that are implanted under the skin that can be used to easily draw blood and give injections. But they are finicky little devices that can be pulled out or damaged. So please don't be rough or when you're playing around the children or with the children. And the biggest thing is if you are sick at all, if you have the sniffles or the cold or anything, avoid the kids at all the costs. What may be a small cold to us or a cough can be much more serious for them. So especially if you see kids in masks, that means that they are immune suppressed. So we need to make sure that we respect that and try our best not to get sick. One great tip for this is to always utilize the hand sanitizers that we will have available there. And before you go out on the floor, to wash your hands in one of the restrooms. That would be a wise choice. Here are a few odds and ends. T-shirts, as I said before, will be given out at the marathon this year instead of at the workshops. This is kind of your check-in ticket when you volunteer, so plan on dressing accordingly. If you want an undershirt or if you want to wear something that coincides with a black T-shirt, that's the color that they will be this year. Just please make sure that you will have adequate time but make sure you get there on time, and there will be restrooms and changing stations available for you to quickly throw on that T-shirt. There will be a volunteer water station this year, so if you do need to bring a bottle or anything, if you want to keep water with you, that would be a great idea. There will be some cups available that will be provided by us, but a bottle never hurts, especially if you're at something that's strenuous such as bag check. Finally, I want to describe the dancer shifts a little bit. This year, as you know, we have added the dance time on the floor. And originally we had planned to have everyone dance after their shift, but obviously if you're working 6 to 9 the last night, there won't be one on the floor to dance with you after the marathon. So we wanted to make sure that we let you know that there will be some shifts where people dance before their volunteer shift. If this is the case for you, we will be emailing you out to let you know if you are one of those people that are dancing before their shift, so that you can plan around that. If you do not receive that email, then just plan on dancing after your shift, because that's when we will have you scheduled. Regardless of your shift, though, please go to the stand and check in first. Regardless if you're dancing first or volunteering first, that's where you will receive all of your further instructions and where you will check in. There are a few times, just logistically, working with the programming team, especially during meal hours, where we will not have full hour dance slots. During meal hours, half of the dancers are eating and half of the dancers are on the floor, so there's not an entire scheduled hour of activities. So if you happen to be scheduled during a meal hour, you will have that 30-minute dance slot where you can dance on the floor. And to make sure that it's fair for you and that you get your full experience, we have invited you to attend the carnival at noon on Saturday. Carnival this year will be where student organizations have set up different stands and activities for the dancers and for the volunteers that did not get this full hour of dancing. This is a great time for me to plug in. Keep checking your email for more information. I will be sending that out periodically throughout this week. So that is our one way of communicating with you, so we need to make sure that you are all up to date and that you're checking that. And last but not least, I just want you all to remember that even when you get frustrated or upset, or if you're confused at all, we're here for you. We want you to come to us with any questions or concerns. Email us if you have any problems or if you feel like you're confused with anything. And remember that it's all for the kids. Everything that we do at DanceBlue, we do for them. So if you do have any questions, email us at either operations@danceblue.org or at volunteer@danceblue.org. I'm not going to go over specific shifts right here, but there will be 4 shifts available: bag check, general volunteer, dancer services, as well as food. So those are the 4 shifts. When you get to the marathon, though, if in case you did miss the workshops and are hearing about this for the first time, you will be filled in more when you arrive at the marathon. But keep checking those inboxes, and I can't wait to see you all at the marathon. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.